record button. Yeah, welcome to our first team call of 2017, you guys. And like when you say 2017, doesn't it just sound like futuristic and weird? And I don't know, I just remember like being a kid, and even like when Prince's song 1999 came out, I felt like that was going to be like so far in the future. And I know I'm dating myself, you guys, but I don't know. The older I get, like 2017 just seems so weird. But anyway, so with the new year, it's a good time to like revisit our goals and reflect upon what we did last year and all that good stuff. So that's the topic of tonight's team call. I'll just go ahead and share my screen here. I was calling it Team Vision. Okay, can you guys see my slide there where it says Team Vision? Okay, cool. So before we get started with that, I'm just going to go over a couple announcements that we have here. So, recognition. I did not have time to pull up the Success Club slide, but I posted it in our team group, and I know Leah posted. Jessica, I think you had some. So, yeah, way to go. And you know what's really cool, you guys, is when I see like our upline, like Jacqueline and Alyssa and even like Melanie posting in her teams, and like I see so many of us like Team Crazy Train people at the very top of that list, and that is like so freaking amazing to me, because like we are doing something right. We might be small, but I feel like we're a really mighty team, so we're forced to be reckoned with, and I think that we're gonna like take that momentum into 2017. So Success Club, it was hard last month. It should not be nearly as hard this month with the health bet and with the all access pass. I hope you guys are just reaching out to as many people as you can with that, because all access is a really great deal, especially because people right now are thinking about resolutions and all that kind of stuff. So strike while the iron is hot. Like, do not waste this time, this week and next week. Believe it or not, people will start like losing momentum on the resolutions like within a couple weeks. So you need to get moving now on that stuff, you guys. Don't snooze, because you will totally lose. So my other recognition points that I had here, I just have a couple. I wanted to recognize Lucy, because she gets to be on stage at Super Saturday with Cam, who is a master trainer doing Country Heat Live. So I'm super, super excited for her. Lucy, where are you? Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Yep.
Tell us what you're doing, girl. I'm so excited for you.
I'm so super excited. Cam asked, like, when you get certified, you're in like her group. And she asked all of us, it's a big mashup workout. So she asked her Country Heat or P90X or Insanity, all the different ones, who wanted to be on stage. And I saw it and I was like, yes. And part of me was like, well, she'll pick me. And then she made a video that said like hundreds of us asked to be on stage, obviously. And it's just in a ballroom, at a DoubleTree hotel. And so she just told us like a couple days ago, she messaged us because she's in California right now filming P90X live round 26.
Awesome.
So she messaged me. She's like, congratulations, you're going to do the Country Heat. So I'm with a couple other master trainers from our area and a couple other ladies who teach Country Heat. And I'm just so super excited. I'm like, they're all like, because we're in a message group too for that, just to like get prepared for it. And Cam's like, they're all like stressing out about what we're going to do. And I'm just like, I'm down for whatever. And then Cam's like, don't stress out, ladies. He's like, I'm going to be leading, so it's going to be fine. So we're going to wear like everybody wears black, but each different, like P90X people will wear like a certain highlight color, like bandanas and stuff. But ours is red, but we can wear like country stuff. So I'm going to have like a flannel tied around my waist, and I'm super excited. So Carl will be there. I guess they're going to announce that Melanie's the top coach again. And
cool.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. And I'll be driving there because I'll be driving tomorrow.
That's so cool. Think of how many accomplishments you had personally in the last year. So I think that's amazing. So yeah, take tons of pictures, Lucy. And
I definitely will. I got to clear my phone out, so I plan
beforehand, so you don't have to worry about it on Saturday. So anyway, my other recognition, and we mentioned her last time, was Jill Workman just had her surgery done. And I just have to give her like a shout out for being so present in the state that she's in right now, because clearly she is not like at her prime physical condition, and she is still logging on and being present on social media. And people are asking about you, Jill, and you hit Success Club last month, like prepping for surgery and then like afterwards. And I'm like, if anyone can do it, Jill can do it. And she's a new coach, so I just had to give her some recognition for that. So anyway, along with what Lucy said, Super Saturday is this weekend, unless you're in Minnesota, because then we're doing a Super Sunday the following weekend. But for any new coaches or coaches that have not been to a Super Saturday before, Beachbody does this quarterly, and it's open to not only coaches, but prospects, challengers, anyone who has any interest in the programs and Shakeology and all that kind of stuff. It's just a great get together. We share motivational stories. They usually have like success stories, like people that have lost a tremendous amount of weight will get up and, we'll do like a hand clap for people that have lost, a certain amount of weight. They're amazing speakers from all around, like top coaches will come to speak. Then like Lucy said, there's usually a live workout with a master trainer. So there's just a lot of fun stuff going on. And it took me a year to get to my first Super Saturday, which was really, really dumb, you guys. I just was like, well, I don't know what's in it for me. I don't know if I want to waste a Saturday doing this. And they're super motivating. You'll get pumped up. You'll be around positivity, great people. It's a great place to just meet other coaches. So I do recommend that you go. Sometimes they even have celebrity trainers. I think that Dawn and Denise from our team said that Tony Horton would be at their Super Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know they had some trainer that was going to be there. So super cool. And if you guys don't know how to figure out where your closest Super Saturday is, just post in our group. We'll post a link. If you just Google like Super Saturday locations, Beachbody, January 2017, it should come up, but they are all over. You should be able to find one, unless you live like where Linda lives, because I think she said her closest one is like 15 hours away or something. But anyway, for the most part, they're nearby. Okay, so let's just talk briefly about the health bet and some of those things that are going on. So health bet tracking starts on the 9th. I would say like we're getting close to last call, because if they want to be logging their Shakeology that first week, they're going to need to have had ordered it by now. Of course, they can do rush shipping, and if you have any on hand, you can offer to like mail them some so that they have those first few days of Shakeology available to them, which is an option. Also know too that they can backdate certain check-ins. So let's say they get, I know this kind of skirting the rules a little bit, but let's say they order today and they're all in, and they have to log their 5 Shakeology servings next week. What if they get it Wednesday or Thursday? Well, you can still log them as long as you get it in by the correct timestamp date, and I'm not quite sure exactly what that is, but let's say it's Sunday at midnight. I don't think that's right, but you can backdate it. So anyway, that might help you in getting a few extra people into the health bet. And of course, the All Access Challenge Pack is huge right now. And, I'm a part of a 5-star and above group, and the vibe I'm getting is a lot of coaches are finding the All Access Pass to be an easier thing to promote than the health bet even. So I had an idea that maybe we would do like a challenge group specifically for the people that get the All Access Challenge Pack, and doing something like that collectively as a team challenge, maybe, like in 2-3 weeks whenever we start our new one. That might encourage a few more people to be interested in that All Access Pass. And what I envision is just during that time, introducing them to the features of Beachbody On Demand, like just kind of doing like a virtual tour. Like, okay, this is where you find this, and this is where you find this. And did you know that you could do this with Beachbody On Demand? Because I do think there are a lot of features that people aren't even aware of. So kind of doing it as like a virtual tour, like I said, or just kind of like having people get to know the product, and as a service to the people that got it too, because you want them to get the most out of it and really stick with that commitment to health and fitness. So, okay, next on my announcements list, Team Cup registration starts on the 16th, I believe. So be thinking about who from your team you want to pair up with. There is only one diamond allowed on each team, and I believe there's, 5 on this. Like, Beachbody switches it up all the time. We just did Team Spirit, and then they do other things, but I think this one for Team Cup, you get to have 5 people on your team. Is that right? I don't know if anyone's looked into it yet. Only one of those coaches can be a diamond. So I recommend, if you're emerald or above, looking at your downline and seeing if there's some people that you can really mentor with that Team Cup and getting them motivated and getting them started right. And if you've never been a part of a Team Cup before, it's really fun. It's motivating. There are prizes at the end. But what I like the most about it is just working with that small group of people and getting to know them better. And we all end up pushing each other towards our goals, whatever those goals may be. So, we've never really had anybody who has won a top prize or anything like this. Those Canadian girls get it all the time. But just what comes out of it is just a lot more team spirit, group support, and we always end up with a prize or two along the way. So it's totally a win-win. If you want to get engaged, if you're committed to Success Club, definitely make sure you sign up for a Team Cup spot. So I want to talk briefly, and maybe I'll let Kristin take a break here, or I'll take a break and let Kristin talk about the Fire and Ice retreat briefly. So I can just take a sip of water here, because she and I were at Mall of America today and doing a little bit of pre-planning here for our retreat. Kristin, do you mind speaking for a minute? Is that okay? Okay, I unmuted you. You good to go?
Yes. Okay,
cool.
Hey guys, so totally had an exciting day, just actually talking about you guys over lunch with a glass of Chardonnay, because that's how we roll, right? Just talking about you guys and how we can continue to motivate and have this team explode, and talking about the different strengths that everybody has and the people that are going to be able to join us. And of course, looking at ways that we can incorporate shenanigans along with some great learning. There may or may, we've got a few special surprises in the mix, but it is going to be a blend of fun and team building, because we're all located in different spots, as well as a little bit of time to rest and relax. But we're going to have a workout, of course. Got to get that in, right? We have to do our daily vitals, be a product of the product, and then have some friendly competition with each other, as well as focus on how can we help you continue to grow your business too. And sharing things that we have learned along the way, sharing teachings from leaders in our company, also just some cutting edge stuff that is out there in the market now that will be applicable to everybody. And then we may even throw in a slumber party and some snacks too. So pretty excited today about all that stuff, pretty jazzed up, and I can't believe it's only a few weeks away. So if you were on the fence about coming, we want you to really think about it strongly. I think it'll be definitely worth your while to get here to Minneapolis, even with the freezing cold.
Yeah, and we just officially named it Fire and Ice today, because Kristin's team is Light the Fire. And we were at the restaurant, at our lunch restaurant was called Fire Lake, right? Fire. Yep. So we're like, oh my gosh, perfect. Fire and Ice. So that's our theme. We'll see if we go with it. But we'll definitely have plenty of fire and plenty of ice. So I hope you guys make it to our cold area of the country, because we will make it worth your while. And Matthew, you're invited too, even though you're a dude. So, okay, with that, I am going to just make this announcement that I don't even know how to introduce this, because I was going to do a slide and then I don't know, I'll just say it because, okay, drum roll, please. our team finished the year as an elite team. And not only that, you guys, we bumped up in the rankings. We're number 187 in the network, which you're probably thinking that's still really high, but trust me, I was kind of blown away by that. We rallied at the end of the year. We surpassed our goals. Like I wanted our team to finish elite. Like that was on my bucket list and that was like on my vision board and all that great stuff. But 187, I am just blown away. So I have to thank all of you guys who busted tail at the end of the year to contribute towards that. And if you guys don't know what goes into being an elite coach or an elite team, only a small portion of that is like me personally. So a lot of that has to do with our team volume, our improvement over the prior year, and the number of you guys that are hitting Success Club. So it's not just me, it's all of you. And honestly, I'm so humbled. Like, I'm just like, I could not even believe it when he called. I mean, I was waiting for the call. I was like all day. Kristin knows because I was with her. It was like 11. The phone rings. I'm like, could this be them? I had to wait until 7:15, you guys. And at that point, I'm thinking, if I don't get this call, how am I going to go and like present like this positive energy to you guys and like pretend like I'm not just going to like crawl into a hole and cry, because that was my goal all year long. And so at 7:15, I was actually thinking we might not have made it. It was that close. Like we were 1 point away last week. And then there was this multiplier that kicked in and, you know, just, I don't know, lots of different variables that I won't bore you guys with. But long story short, we rallied and I am super proud of our team and just super, super excited to see where we can take that momentum this year. And I know that the last couple months have not been easy for our team, but it's a new year. Wipe the slate clean and start fresh. And those of you guys who did have a rough year last year, all of those trials and those challenges are going to make you a better person going into 2017. So whatever you struggled with, that only made you stronger, right? So get your mind in the right place, get your goals set, and let's go and do this. Okay, you guys? So that's what the rest of this call is about. And I do want you guys to unmute yourselves if you want to just pipe in and like add anything to this, because I don't necessarily have to be the only one talking, but we're going to talk right away about your personal vision. And everyone has a different goal or different vision, or what do you want out of coaching? And when I do our sneak peek into coaching groups, it really sheds a lot of light on how coaching means something different to every single person out there. We all get into it for very, very different reasons. We all, are motivated by different things. So I can't force my goals upon you guys, just like you can't force your goals upon your coaches. So I really want you guys to dig deep in your own inner world and figure out, what is that personal vision? How do you want coaching to make you feel? And I think that's really important when it comes to goal setting. Sure, you can say, yeah, I want to be a diamond coach. Well, why? What will that do for you? What will that do for your family? How will that make you feel? And if it's an income goal, what would that look like? Like, for a lot of people, just being able to pay for their Shakeology would be huge. For another person, maybe they're like, okay, well, $500 a month, that's like the magic number for me. That would allow me to quit my part-time job. So I really want you to do a little soul searching with that income goal and put a number to it. Like, what is that number that would actually make a difference in your household and motivate you to work a little bit harder? And what would that mean to you and your family? So it's going to be different for everyone. It's your personal vision. And I also want you guys to know that what you want out of coaching determines what you put into it. So you start with that end goal in mind and how you want to feel and what you want to get out of it. And then we'll backtrack a little bit and figure out how we will actually put together a plan to make that happen. So I kind of talked a little bit about this already, and just determining what you want, like how much money would you need to really get excited about your business? Then what would you do that money? And I think with that money, I think the more specific you can get with that, the more it motivates you. I know that when I first started my first blog many, many years ago, I can relate to that situation a little bit more than I can with Beachbody, because for me, Scott and I had determined that we needed an extra $700 a month for me to be able to quit my job. And that was my magic number at that time. And I was doing blogging and I was doing some other stuff. And so that was a very tangible number for me. And I knew exactly what it would do for my family. So I want you to think about what that number would be for you. There's different reasons for that. Because it actually puts a quantifiable goal on the table, right? Like $700, like, okay, $699, haven't made it. $701, I have made it. So you know exactly when that's done. Now, what would you do with that? What would that mean in your life? So, like I said, everyone's going to be different. Everyone has a different financial position, different goals. So I want you guys to just really think about what that means for you personally. And then again, once you get that number, how much time would you be willing to commit to actually making that happen? And that's kind of the magic question here, because with Beachbody, income is unlimited. It really is. So no matter what that number is, it's within the realm of possibility, as long as you're willing to put the time into it. Because obviously, if your goal is to make $1 million, you aren't going to be able to do it by next month. So sorry to burst your bubble, you guys, but you also have to commit to it long term and decide, how long am I willing to do this? Because it, like I said, it does take time, but persistence is key. Once you have that information, then you can actually go back and create a blueprint for your success, or a roadmap. So I'm not going to throw a bunch of crazy numbers at you guys, but I've kind of figured that of all the people I reach out to, my number is usually about 2 in 10 will say yes. That would be like the prospects that I reach out to about challenge groups. Maybe 2 out of 10 will say yes. The same as like when I'm reaching out to people in the challenge group, like with the coaching opportunity, again, probably about 2 in 10 will say, yeah, that's something I would consider. So if you have a goal to, like, okay, it's easy right now to do the math, because the All Access Challenge Pack, you earn $70 per sale. So you can do the math. How, 10 of those would get to your $700. So then you do the math. How many people do you need to contact? That's what reverse engineering your goals is. Why it's really important that you have that target so that you can figure out the steps that it needs to get there. The same thing with rank and all that kind of stuff, because as you guys know, in this business, building a team under you is probably the most effective way of building your residual income. Retail sales are great, especially as you start out as a new coach. And that's kind of what I focused on my entire first year of coaching. And with that, I was able to build up a huge customer base. Oh, someone needs to mute themselves. But yeah, so I just want you guys to take the work, or take the steps to reverse engineer whatever goal you come up with. Does anyone have anything to add to that before I move on? Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, so 2 years into coaching, I would say that the first year I floundered around a lot and I felt overwhelmed because I didn't set those clear goals, right? I was just kind of threw stuff out and I said, well, yeah, I think I want to be like a diamond coach. Not really thinking about, okay, so that's going to mean having 8 coaches and 2 emeralds. And if I need to have X number of coaches, how do I back into that? And how often should I be talking about the opportunity, or how many people should I be talking to? I just was kind of like, oh yeah, I know I'm supposed to be posting. So I posted about, and just be doing a lot of activities so that I was busy. I was super busy, but I wasn't being productive because I wasn't working towards a goal. I was just thinking I had to do all of these things. So that's why it is super important to have a goal. And I know in the beginning, it can be really tough to figure out what those goals maybe would look like. And that's why it's important to work with your upline to say, well, here's kind of what I'm thinking. And we can help you then lay that out to help build that map. So then, it's like, hey, you can't be slacking on adding people to your network, because if you assume that 1 or 2 out of 10 would say yes, well, and you want to be at SC 10 every month, like you need to make sure that you're expanding your network X, Y, and Z. So just kind of reiterating what Kim was talking about, and just that painful reminder as I reflected back on these 2 years about the challenges I had the first year or 2 because I didn't have a clear goal in mind.
Right. Absolutely. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, Kristin, but with just, you shouldn't just be busy, you should be productive. Everyone has the same amount of time to allocate in a day. We all have 24 hours, but it seems like a lot of people get a lot more done with that time. So when I've been doing some personal development and business studies with like the Pareto principle, it talks all about the 80-20 rule. And it applies to everything in life basically, but in business, it says that 20% of the things that you do result in 80% of your output. So basically, 20% of your daily coaching activities will give you an 80% return. So it's kind of up to you to figure out what those income producing activities are if you want to build your business. So for me, I know that my top business building activities are inviting, enrolling customers and coaches, and building personal connections, adding to my network. And I also see that that is probably something that a lot of new coaches don't do right away because it's very scary to them. They're not comfortable with it. So, my job, I guess, as a mentor is to maybe give you guys some easier tools on how to do that and what that actually looks like. And, like how to build your Facebook group and all that kind of stuff, your Facebook like page. So we'll cover that a little bit more in future calls. But I think it is super important to constantly analyze your business activities and figure out what is and isn't actually bringing you closer to your goals. I'm a huge personal development junkie, you guys, so I could easily just sit online and listen to podcasts and read books all day. But at the end of the day, if I don't put that into action, it won't result in anything. So, Kristin likes to call it information constipation. Don't be that way. Make sure that you don't collect that information. You actually put it into practice, which is huge. And I know that as a new coach, you guys are all super overwhelmed with all these things and all this information. But at the very core of what we do, it's personal connections. That's basically it. You're already doing the workouts. Let's just think of that as the vital behaviors, because as a challenger, someone who probably came from a challenge group into coaching, you're already doing the workouts. You're probably already doing a little bit of personal development. Your next thing that you need to worry about is expanding your network and talking to people. That's it. Like all the other stuff, put on your blinders. It's really not that important. If you're talking to people, you're putting yourselves out there and you're expanding your network, you're adding more people to your friends list or your like page or whatever. That's it. Really, like those are the key factors in your success. And then as you have more time to allow more things into your business, then you can focus on some other things. That's just from my experience. Okay. So once you kind of know what you should be doing, it's really, really important to schedule. And, like Kristin and I were talking today, it's fun to buy all these planners and maybe sign up for a subscription and all this kind of cool stuff. But if you don't actually use it, it's not going to do you any good. So you just have to be super, super intentional with the time that you actually can commit to your business. Even if it's only, 2 or 3 hours a week, you can get a lot done in that amount of time. And I don't know if Jessica's on the call yet. I know she was putting kids to bed, but I always think that she's a good go-to person when it comes to being really effective with time, because she works full-time. She's got a demanding career. She's got preschoolers. She's got a ton of other activities going on, but she's a diamond coach and she hits Success Club 10 like every month. So she's proof that it's not time that it's a problem. It's prioritizing what you do. So you have to make appointments. You have to schedule time with yourself to actually work on your business. If you treat your business like a hobby, you'll get paid like a hobby. If you treat it like it's a full-time job, you'll get paid that way. And you guys, you have to make some sacrifices. If you're not willing to like give up the Real Housewives of New Jersey or playing, like Candy Crush on your phone, I can't really help you out that much. This job does take sacrifice if you want to be a success in it. Honor your commitments to yourself. Don't bail on yourself. Like, think about it. Like, if you made an appointment with your boss, you would not cancel on him. Why would you cancel on yourself? You are more important than anyone else. So don't cancel on yourself. And also, consistency is key. I see so many coaches that they go through that ebb and flow of, oh, I love what I'm doing, and now I hate it, and now I love it, and now I hate it. And it's so apparent on their social media because they go gung-ho for a month or two, they drop off the face of the planet, and then they try to come back, and then, they've really shot themselves in the foot, because how are people going to trust them as a leader or someone who is talking about working out consistently every day when they disappear for, weeks on end? And, like, think of this in terms of a full-time job too, you guys. If you had a job, you wouldn't just say, oh, I'm only going to come in when I feel like it. I'm in a bad mood today. I think I'm going to take the day off. Life doesn't work that way. So this is just, this is kind of some tough love I'm throwing at you here, but it depends on, how bad do you really want to hit your goals, right? And I'm not just talking Beachbody. I'm talking any of your goals. This could be applied to anything that you want to achieve in life. This is not just hit Success Club. This is like, do you want to finish that marathon? Do you want to like have a better relationship with your spouse? Then schedule a date, right? Like, if you want to, whatever it is you want to do, and make it a priority.
Can I pipe in on something?
Yeah, absolutely, Leah. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you're one of those people that's kind of been back and forth, then you're probably not seeing the income that you think you should get. And what I mean by that is, in the beginning, when you first start coaching, you have to put in double and triple the amount of work, and you're not going to see the return on your time investment right off the bat. I think about how hard I used to work, and to be quite honest, I have to work a lot less hard now to get Success Club points, and I get more Success Club points than when I started. But people need to see that consistency on your Facebook. People are waiting to watch you either fail, they're watching to see if you're going to bail out on it, and they're watching to see if you're serious. Because when they are thinking of putting their health in your hands and they're trusting you, they're not going to just jump at one challenge group post, because they might not know you very well, and they might not truly believe that your intentions are anything but to make a couple bucks, if that makes sense to you guys. So what I encourage you all to do is, if you're like kind of half in, half out with this, I encourage you to give 30 days of, a solid power hour, at least 5 days a week. And I would put money on this that you're going to see your income increase, hands down. And if you can't, commit that hour at least 5 days a week, then like Kim said before, like something's got to give. If you have an income goal for yourself, then you need to totally commit to this to kind of, I guess, maybe prove yourself wrong and prove that this does actually work and you can actually earn a substantial income from this. But if you don't commit for at least 30 days, I mean, we say we have to make our challengers commit for 21 days to a challenge group or 30 days for a challenge group. It's no different than, creating this type of like a business goal or like a vision like we're talking about tonight. So if you do it, 1 or 2 days a week, every other week for a month, and you're like, no, you know what, this just doesn't work. Well, you really didn't give enough of an effort, and you didn't give it enough time. So hopefully that makes sense. And I get it. When you're first starting out, you're like, what the hell? Like, I spend all this time on these power hours. I'm talking to all of these people and nobody's interested. I keep getting crickets. It's because they need to see you doing it over time. That's what it is. And I promise you, if you post consistently every single day, eventually it's like you kind of hit this plateau, and then all of a sudden it will just spike and people will start coming to you. But with that said, you also have to be sharing your own results, whether it's a personal development thing or whether you lost weight or you can finally touch your toes because you've been doing yoga. Whatever it is, people need to see that you're working to make improvements in your life in whatever area that is, but you have to be willing to share it. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, because there's so many coaches who quit within the first 3 months that it just pisses me off so bad, and they want to blame the company, they want to blame me, they want to blame this, that, and the other thing. But really it's on each individual person, and it's a matter of, are you going to put the time in, and are you going to do it every day? Can't do it twice a week. Can't do it 5 times a month. It's got to be an everyday thing, and you got to give it a year. I mean, 3 months and 6 months, it's not enough time. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kim,
Have you thoughts that?
I am here.
Oh,
So I was just waiting for the right moment.
Well, you go ahead then.
I don't know how many slides you have left or how much water you want to drink.
I don't have that much left.
Okay.
So feel free to take as much time as you want. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay.
So I am folding a monstrous pile of laundry, because what I do is I wash it throughout the week and then I throw it in my guest bedroom. And then when my mom comes to visit, I realize she has to sleep here. So I'm like, I heard what you said, Kim, about like multitasking, and that's absolutely right. This is what I do to stay caught up on work, right? So I have my phone next to me. I'm not scrolling through Facebook. Every 30 minutes, I'll look and see if I have new messages on a potential challenge pack, and then I'll go back to folding. So I live my life on a 24/7 thing. The momentum principle is me. If I don't stop, then I'll never get tired, and you can't live like that forever. But I'm definitely an atypical coach. So I think most of you know my story, but I love my full-time job. I mean, I uprooted my family and moved to Minnesota for it. But I'm a natural competitor. I'm dedicated. If I'm doing something, then I'm doing it. And so once I joined Beachbody, you put that calendar in front of me, I'm going to follow the calendar. You tell me to drink shake every day, I'm going to drink shake every day. And so, and then at that time, we just didn't have a lot of extra money because childcare where we were living before was so expensive. So it became I want to pay for my shakes. And I would listen to, and I still listen to all these coach stories. And there's not a single coach in the network that I listen to on the National Wake Up Call where I'm like, that's me. Because they were broke or bankrupt or stay-at-home moms who wanted to be stay-at-home moms but couldn't make it work, or hated their corporate job or whatever. And I'm just like, wow, I don't relate to any of that. So should I keep doing this? And then it's like, who cares? I don't need to be a 5-star diamond, but I love being a diamond coach. I love hitting Success Club 10 every month and making that goal. And I'm totally cool not hitting Success Club 30 and being at the top too. But I would go crawl under a rock, Kim, if I didn't hit Success Club 10. It would just be too devastating for me. And that's the goal that I set from day one. And what you said about mapping it out and stuff like that, I never really did that because I didn't have a lot of support from an upline. And I actually think for where I started from my place, that was fine, right? And then the momentum took off and things just kind of happened. But now, a year and a half into the business, I have to go make things happen. So it's completely different. And I can only translate it to my day job, really. And so right now we're in the middle of performance reviews and goal setting for 2017. I mean, and it is clear cut. If you miss this step in your position, you put this much product on hold, which costs the company this much money. It's all translatable, right? If you make this decision during your day, you can save the company this much money. Well, I can see the dollars, like, and it's like hundreds of thousands, right? And I am held accountable to that by my boss, but I'm also a personal accountable person, right? So I'll go out and look for extra. And on the flip side of that, I have people who didn't meet their goals. Somebody needs to be muted. That there's some like rustling. They didn't meet their goals, and we're in annual performance reviews right now. And I'm looking at them going, who's in charge of this project? Well, we both just kind of show up to the meetings, and I'm like, okay, so none of them mapped out like the actions that they were going to take to complete it. And guess what's going to happen to their raise? It's going to be affected by the lack of performance, which is caused by the lack of setting a plan in place. So while I'm not the best role model to follow in Beachbody for like planning and mapping, and that is a big 2017 goal of mine. Like, even if it's like on Mondays, I update, Google Streak and get everybody loaded in there. And on Tuesdays, I follow up with customers who went dry a long time ago. And on Wednesdays, I do this. Mostly I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I'll put it on Instagram. And I make sure I get on Instagram every day. Like Leah said, I mean, she's totally right on the consistency thing. And again, speaking in my day job, there was a really important metric to the plant that I work at, and none of my team understood it. And so every single time we were in a meeting together, I would start the meeting by saying, what is the definition of this? And what was the number in 2015? And what's our goal for 2016? And then, they all started to learn it. And so then I stopped, and 4 months went by, and I went and did it again. And they all just stared at me. As soon as I stopped being consistent with it, they stopped thinking it mattered to me. And so they stopped caring about it. And so, I mean, Leah is so right on this one. Like, first of all, people won't see your post if you're doing it once a week. They just there's a law of averages in there. Like, you may post 3 times a day, and 1/3 of your audience will see each different post. And then they'll want to see you tomorrow, and then they'll watch you for a year. I've said this repeatedly. People just come out of nowhere. Never liked, never commented. I'm ready to join. Oh, okay. I don't know which post spoke to them, but I know that the collection of 1,000 posts on Instagram that I have in the last year and a half, it was one of those. And I don't care which one, because some posts I know will get more likes or less likes. I mean, the ones where I'm all happy and cheery, they get lots of likes. And the ones where I have a little bit of an opinion, they get less likes. And that's fine, right? I mean, I just continue to do what I do, but I don't let off the gas. And you better believe that there are days at work where I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to work here anymore. And then 5 minutes later, I'm back to being like, okay, how can I save twice as much as what I'm supposed to? Everybody can have a pouty moment, like you're entitled to that, but nobody in the world is going to feel sorry for you. I mean, I get it all the time, like, oh, I want this, or I don't like this. And it's like, okay, we all have choices, right? And so while I can press on people at work because I'm paying them, I cannot message Kristin every day and say, Kristin, you're on the hook for 3 posts today, and I noticed you've only done 2, so I'm going to withdraw money from your Beachbody account. I don't have the power to do that. So it's that. You have to be really self-motivated and want to do that. And when I listen to people talk about working like on this 4 hours a day, I probably work on it at 6 because I'm chasing. Like I always say there just needs to be a day where I like sit down and like fix my blog and make it awesome. But instead, I just kind of chase it with little fixes here and there and posts and Facebook messages. And that's kind of the life. And that's the life I live in manufacturing too. You're always kind of chasing a problem. Again, don't take that role model example. But when I hear people talk about how they don't find time, and I would think, God, if I had like a week off work, you better believe I would spend 55 hours on Beachbody. Like I would just, like Leah said, I would get it all squared away. I would figure out how to do shout outs, and I would figure out how to boost my like page. And then I would enjoy the rest of my time. And by enjoy, I mean, I'd knock it down to 45 hours the next week. but I like work and I like to see the fruits of my labor come through in terms of income. So anyway, I kind of rambled on for a little bit on that one, but like I said, I'm in goal setting time. And so I cannot think of anything else than putting what you want in front of you and knowing that if you don't get it, you don't get paid. It's like a raise in the business world. You just will not get your full potential if you don't work for it.
So I'm going to move on, Jessica, because I want to make sure that we get everything covered before 9 o'clock. So with that, I just want to tell everybody, and you kind of alluded to using Google Streak. There are other ways to track your business. For a lot of people, if you're just starting out, pen and paper is just fine. But it is really important to work from a list and work intentionally. And it's really important to follow up too. And it's not just like one reach out or one contact and you're done. No, I have people that are on my list from, 12 months ago, and they'll be like, well, I'm not ready quite yet, or this is my objection. And I actually have a list of objections in Teamsy that I track. Like I have one for people that say Shakeology is too expensive. And then when I do a free group, that's when I reach out to those people. Or, I tag them according to their program that they're working on, so that, for example, like if, let's say 21 Day Fix round 3 ever came out, that would be awesome, right? Because everyone loves that. But then I could go back through all those people, everyone that purchased 21 Day Fix or 21 Day Fix Extreme, and I could say, hey, you're going to love this because you've already done those. So just having a system of tracking your CRM or your customer relationship management, that's what that stands for, being able to actually track those people, make notes about what they've said to you, so that you can use those as connecting points in the future. I think that's very important. Another bridge between pen and paper and doing something with Teamsy or Asana or Streak, which a lot of coaches use, is just setting up a simple Google spreadsheet, which I think I did in my earlier months of coaching. I just had a list of people, and I check little boxes according to what I wanted to remember, but then always remember to follow up, because no just means not right now. And those of you guys that have been in coaching for a while, that this is so true, but the newer coaches might need to hear it, because if someone says no to you, don't write them off. It just means that, well, maybe they haven't seen your success consistently, like Leah talked about. Maybe they are trying something that works for them right now, but 2 months down the road, they'll be fed up with it and looking for something else. So there's so many different variables that affect that no that might change later on. So that's super important to remember. You can always use task management software and apps too, like Evernote, Wunderlist. There's lists of them out there. I don't do a whole lot of that on my phone. I'm more of I travel with my laptop everywhere I go. I even keep it in my purse with me. But if you're an app sort of person, there's tons of apps that do that too. I just use something, whatever works for you. Okay, and what I kind of wanted to leave you guys on tonight with just realizing that everything that you've done up until this point in all of the priorities that you have in life have gotten to where you are right now. You are a direct reflection of who you are as a person, the choices you've made with your time, and what you've learned with personal development. You're a product of all of that. So simply tweaking your priorities, simply how do I want to say this? Working on yourself, because I totally believe that we grow into the person that we want to be. If you want to be a top 10 coach and your mindset isn't there, and you're not living the way a top 10 coach would live, you better get starting to act like one, because you have to grow into that role, right? So you have to, whatever your goal is, get your mind there, get those activities down, get your priorities in check, because your income and your status right now is a direct reflection of not just your habits, but your mindset, right? So that's kind of what all this is about, getting your mind in the right place, tweaking your habits, and just really fine-tuning the way you spend your time. Time is so precious, you guys, and we all have like lives outside of Beachbody. We've got families, we've got hobbies we enjoy, we've got spouses, like they're important too, right? And I don't mean to say that they're not, but hopefully through Beachbody and doing these activities, we can just make the very most of the time that we are given with, making a little bit more money so that we can enjoy everything else. Just being better people, having richer friendships, richer relationships, all that great stuff. So that's what I want for everybody, is just to live, oh my gosh, I'm going to sound like a Beachbody commercial, but it's all about like happier, more fulfilling lives, right? Like it totally is. So I think that's it. And this is a picture that Kristin took today from Mall of America. And just to give you a little bit of insight into what we're planning is we scouted out some really fun photo locations, and this is just one of them. So we've got some really fun ideas in store for you guys. But I'm just going to open it up to questions for the last couple of minutes here. I did not even open up the chat bar. So I'm going to stop the screen share and we'll just open it up for everybody who wants to talk. And that annotate button, I must be pressing that. But anyway, okay. And if you have something, you guys just unmute yourselves because I'm not going to go through the chat at this point. Oh, Kristin has something. Go for it, girl.
So just to expand on what you were saying about where you're at, your business is a reflection of you and what you've done. This business snapshot sheet has been something that has been kind of like in my face, like looking back through it, because I was telling myself that I was expanding my network. I was telling myself that I was inviting to the opportunity, but looking at the numbers of the growth month to month, I mean, it was like I was kind of doing a half-ass job, and I was getting half-ass results because of that. And so that's another reason why it's really great to just look at those goals, break the numbers down, and go back, because I have a tendency to get easily distracted. I love social media. I love shiny things. I love chatting with people and all that stuff. So that fills my day. And I can tell myself that, oh, that's networking and that's building relationships. And it is, in a small way, but it's not in a productive way that I'm doing it. So if you haven't started doing the business snapshot tracking sheet, I definitely recommend that you start 2017 doing that. And it's just things like tracking your number in your downline and your seeing your SC points from prior months and your social media accounts. How many Facebook friends do you have? How many likes on your Facebook page, your group members, your Instagram? And it also helped me identify areas where I should put more effort, where I wanted to see my Facebook group expand, and it was only maybe increasing by like 5 people a month. So then that helped me think, oh, well, I have all this Beachbody gear. I'm going to do a big giveaway around my birthday. And I was able to get 150 more people in my Facebook group just by doing a week full of just small little giveaways that kind of mounted up. So instead of me just saying like, oh, I'm going to do a random giveaway to how many people comment on my post, then I was able to have more of a mission and a purpose behind what I was doing. So I just wanted to give that a little plug too, as we're talking about goal setting.
Yeah, great point. That's all I have to say about that. Sound like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, anyone else have anything?
I had a couple coaches on my team message me outside of this and just with questions about elite and like what goes into elite and how is our team figured out and that sort of thing. And I know there are some people that are looking for diamond specific training to kind of help our teams get there and help them start to grow their own teams. So maybe we can just put a bug in everybody's ear to be thinking about that down the pipeline and get a training going pretty soon on just, not necessarily like a diamond specific training, but just how to duplicate what you're already doing. Because I know a lot of you on this call are already reaching Success Club. And so how can we help our downlines achieve that as well? So
I would love to do that. And, thinking forward to Team Cup month, I think that might be a great time to do that, in February. I don't know if you guys are like me, but Kristin and I were talking right now, like we're kind of overwhelmed with like the health bet and all access and all that. And so we're kind of focusing on that right now. But I think February would be a great month to focus on recruiting and growth and, kind of focusing on those goals that go along with team building. And I would love to start something like that, whoever wants to like join us. And, I talk a lot about Bob Heilig. Sorry, Kristin. His name must have come up like about 3 times during lunch today, but he's my new like business guru that I listen to on podcast. It's Bob Heilig, and his last name is Heilig. And he does a podcast called Your Virtual Upline, and it is amazing. And not just because he's sharing great information, but I think he's just presenting it in a very down-to-earth, simplistic, easy to understand kind of way that resonates with me personally. And so in one of his podcasts, to make a long story short, he talked about recruiting 20 coaches in 30 days. And you guys are probably thinking, holy crap, I could never do that. And even like that seems like a really, really high number for me. But it's all about putting your focus and your energy into that one goal. I don't know if it's GoPro or I think it's GoPro that talks about that, and like the energy that it takes for a jet to get off the ground during takeoff is like 80% of the fuel that it needs to like sustain itself in flight. So yeah, Kristin's sharing the link. So anyway, I would love to do something like that in February where we're putting that energy into building our teams and like setting ourselves up for success for whatever goals we have in 2017. Because one of the big things about Elite or Premier or any of those, ranks above like Star Diamond, it is based on team, but it's collective throughout the year. So the more you can stack your team early on in the year, the faster and the more successful you will be in reaching those goals. If you wait until the end of the year, like September, October, it might be too late. Because like I said, a lot of Elite and Premier is based on Success Club points, and those multiply not only when you hit it, but when your personally sponsored coaches hit it. So the more you have early on this year, the better off you're going to be. So anyway, love to do a push group. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, cool. And yeah, anyone else have anything? Because we're getting really close to 9 o'clock, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just have a lot of ideas for future team calls for, the weeks to come. So I always want your feedback in which topics are most relevant to you. So I think one of the things that I've heard the most, and I'm going to be going through those goals you guys sent to me, and if Kristin's your coach or Leah's your coach or Jessica or whoever the case may be, I will make sure that your upline gets that goal sheet that you filled out. But I do see kind of a common theme that people need to like do more recruiting and expanding their social network. So those are definitely some topics I think we should address in the recent or the upcoming weeks to come. So,
Kim, I just wanted to add that I listen to Bob Heilig when I do dishes. So if you're wondering in case the busy moms are wondering how to multitask, that is how I do it. And I listen to work out of the Minneapolis office once a week, and I that's my hardest day to like be on social media, so I just try to focus on myself. So I have 3 hours of drive time. I listen to personal development on the way there and on the way back. So I have, like Kim said, I don't do Desperate Housewives anymore. I may do some of that in the summer, like when the Olympics were on. Okay, I took a break from National Wake Up Call because I can't not. But yeah, I listen to Bob when I do dishes. I do team calls when I fold laundry. I just find the time throughout the day to either work on my business or work on myself or work on coaches or just like thinking. The hardest part is I have all my good ideas when I'm either running or driving. So by the time I get a pen and paper, I don't have anything left in my brain. So
when you're driving, you use the voice feature on your notes.
I need to start. I've started doing that because I think of good posts when I drive.
That's what I use, the voice feature.
Kristin, can you see this?
Oh yeah, Kristin got that for
It's
us.
all clean now, so I'm folding it.
Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the call. I mean, we could go on and on, but it is 9 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. And I just want to thank you guys all for tuning in. We had like a record number of people on this call, which is super exciting. And elite team, yay, super excited. So can't wait to see what 2017 brings for everybody. We're in it together, right? Like ups and downs and whatever. That's the beauty of teamwork, and we're all here to support each other. So let us know what you're struggling with. Let us know what you're celebrating. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Thanks.